Right. So last week we installed Laravel, right? So if you remember, okay, let me share the whole screen. Right. So hope you can see the screen. So this is what we installed last week. So if you look at the URL here, that's what we have, right? By the way, now since we are using Laragon, it also does something called virtual hosting. So if you want, you can also do CCS3310.txt. This URL also works. And it is not secure because we have not installed SSL. We can do all that. That's one of the advantages of having Laragon. We can also go ahead and install, by the way, Docker if you want to. I'll try to do that later. That's a bit complicated because you have to install multiple software and then come back here. Actually, Laravel makes it very easy to use Docker because Laravel has something called Sail. It makes it really easy to install Docker and get going. Anyways, so this is what we did, and it doesn't do any work, nothing much happening. So today I have two things to do. One is to connect the database. So last week we looked at connecting, or rather starting Laravel or installing Laravel, and also writing some code for the controller, right? So today I'm going to look at using Blade file. Actually, we did that last week also. So how to send data to the Blade file, we will look at that. And also how to get connected to the database, add some data, read that from the controller, and then send that to the view file or the Blade file. So that's how we complete the MVC. Okay. Remember MVC architecture. So there is model, view, and controller. So last week we only looked at the controller and the view, not the model. So let's look at the model today. Model means basically database. So first of all, you need to go to the migration folder, by the way. Okay, let me close everything. Right, so these are the files, by the way, and I have all my files on this side. So if you go to the database folder, there is a section called migration. So this is where we have our database migrations file. So I'm going to look at the books migration file. If you remember, last week we didn't have this. We only had this. Okay. So I'm adding the rest of the fields to my database. Since this is a database of books, I will require a name of the book. I will require ISBN. That's like a unique number to the book. I also need to have an edition and then the number of books I have, quantity. Well, you can throw anything at it. I'm just putting some information so that I can get it in the output, right? Of course, you can also give certain limits also. Say, for example, ISBN. If you think it doesn't go more than 15, you can also give some number like this. Name also, if you want to control the number of characters. Edition, maybe you want to control the characters, let's say 32 or something. It's good to give that because sometimes if you don't give, it will take the maximum size of the field, which might be wasted, right? Name, I'm going to keep it open so that can be as lengthy as possible. So I created my migration. Okay. Now what I need to do is to rebuild my database, right? So that everything I have in my database, actually before the class, I did it already. So that's how you can see some stuff here. So this is my database, by the way. So I'm going to redo the books table. In fact, I can drop it if we want to, but I'm going to leave it there. And I go to the terminal. Remember, we have two terminals here. duplicated. This is the artisan serve command running. It's serving my file. And then this is where I'll be typing my commands. So the command is php artisan migrate refresh and dash C. So what I'm doing here is I am asking it to rebuild my entire database, refresh it, that is, and also seed it. I don't have any seed files here, but as a practice, I type that also. Now, seeding means it will load the default data to the database. I don't have any of that, but I'd like to keep it that way. Whenever I type my command, I give that as well. So here we go. When I do that, so rolling back migration, that means it is removing the migration and then running migration. So it is adding the new migrations now. And then also it runs the database seeder. So now if I go to my database management software and try to refresh, you see my books table is empty now. No data. Okay. I can press this one and start adding the name. So let's give N1 I1 edition, I'll say E1 quantity, let's say 1 or maybe 10. Yeah. Now created and updated, that comes automatically. Since we did not create these data from our code, we are doing it manually. Either you can keep it null or you can just press here and it'll automatically get your timestamp, right? Now, if I want another one, let's add another book. Let's call it N2. That is for name 2, ISBN 2. Of course, these are test data, so we will replace this later. Quantity can be, let's say, 15. Okay. And created that again. I'm going to add the current timestamp there. Right. Now we have 2 records. Okay. So I need to know how can I read these records and then dump that to the file, the screen. So the other day we looked at how to handle routes. Yeah. So if you remember the web routes, we had this one single line which will take care of all the routes automatically for us. So now I come to the controller. Like I said, I've been experimenting with few things. So let me turn this off. So this is where I am taking all the books. So book is the name of the model. There is a method called all, right? So I'm saying get all the books and store that in a variable called books. And I'm going to dump that with the echo command. Let's see, no formatting, nothing, right? So to run this, I need to go here and then do a route, isn't it? Books. Let's see now. There you go. I have my data. All right. So this is a data dump, actually. It doesn't look any good. Nothing of this sort. So if I look at the source code of this, page source, there is no HTML tag, nothing, right? It's just pure data dump. So if I want, I can run this through maybe a loop and then display each item in the loop also. Now, we don't do that in the controller, right? The controller will just pass this onto a view file. So the view file is here in the resources folder. Remember, we created a folder called books. Inside that, I have a file called index.blade. I also showed you last time how to bring in the bootstrap CSS file here. So it's all here, right? And then going back to my book controller, I can turn off the echo and then turn on this guy, which is to return the books index. Let's see how it works. It'll have a bootstrap base file, which is nice. And to that, I can transfer the books variable as well. Okay. Right. So now the books variable is coming here, just that I'm not using it. I'm not doing any work with it. So let's go to the view file here. This is the view file, which is inside the resources folder, view folder, then books folder, and inside that I have my index folder here, right? Now to understand this, we need to learn something called the template engine. Laravel comes up with something called the Blade template engine, very simple to use. So it goes like this. Let's say after this, okay, I can have at or each, right? And this is the command. So I am getting a variable called books, right? As I can say one book, right? So I'm getting one, sorry, one book here. And then I can just dump that one book here. So let's say, um, without any paragraphs, or maybe I'll have a P here. So right, let's see whether this is working. Oh, okay. Still working. Ooh, undefined variable books. So why is that? Sending it as books. Oh, I need to have a variable actually. Attempt to read property ID name. Okay. I made a mistake with the arrow. So it should be equal sign, not the dash, right? So I made a mistake here. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I got all the records from the book model, save that in the variable books, and I'm passing that as a array. Okay, books is a collection. Here we are passing it as an array. This is also known as in PHP associative array or a dictionary in other languages. So inside my blade file, which is here, I can access, in fact, the book variable, books variable, which is a collection. And this is called enhanced loop in Java. So this is a for each loop where I can go through every item in the collection without worrying about an index number or a subscript. And every time it runs, I get one book. Okay. And then that one book has various fields. In my case, remember here I have the name, ISBN, edition, all that is there. So I'm just using the name. Okay. And so let's look at the preview now. Here we go, N1 and N2. What is N1 and N2? There we go. N1 and N2 are the names of the book, right? So if you want, you can load that into a table, for example, right? So now for that, we may need to go to Bootstrap tables here. Let's see, docs. We can simply copy paste a Bootstrap table and load the data into that table. I will go down here to tables. Okay, here we go. So there are different kinds of tables, right? This is a basic table, color tables. Then we have table stripped, that is, alternative color table. Then we have dark tables. Okay, and also the hover table where you can move your mouse. Now for that, you need this class, table hover. So this is table hover again. Right, so I am going to have stripped rows. This one, right? So this is what you need for that. So I'm gonna copy this, come here. In fact, on a table situation, we will have the loop inside the row, right? So something like this. So let me paste my table code here. So in the table, we have TR and TD, isn't it? TR, then there is TD. Okay, so the TR is what is getting looped. So I will require this piece above the TR and this piece after the TR. And then this piece, actually, I might not need the paragraph. So that will be inside the TD. Okay. Now if I look at my file here, there I have my table. If I want the hover table, so then I need to go to the hoverable table and then just copy the class table hover. Well, I can't see much here because it's just two record, isn't it? So let's push it here. Right. So now if I look at this, I will see hovering also. I can move the mouse. Now let's add another row manually. Let's call it plus 3, 5, 3, E3, quantity, let's say 20. Okay. So I'll go back to the preview, reload. I should see N3 as well. There we go. So now if I move the mouse, now see, I want to show you the alternative color. So it's gray, white like that. And if you want outline, anything else, no problem. Just go to the table here, right? And there you can see the information. So if you want a border table, there you have it, right? Table border. So come here and just add that class. There you have the border table. If you want any headings, again, no problems. You can have the headings also, right? The borders, vertical alignment. So we basically got the data from the database and we are displaying it here in a HTML table. So you can show it anywhere you want. Now, let's say, since I only have one row, so say if I want another element, say we had, actually, I could have just copied this, right? So we had, what else? We had the name, we had the ISBN and edition, right? So I can put here ISBN, right? Now, if I go to this and reload, you will see two cells, right? Name and ISBN. Of course, I also need to have some a topic there. So I might need a TR here before the loop where I can have my topics. So generally it's a table heading, right? Name and ISBN. There we have it. It's bold because it's TH, right? So if you want more columns, no problem. Go ahead. You can edit that. Right. So now we are done with the MVC. We have the controller, we have the weave, and we also have the model. Now, by the way, this is not the correct way of doing it. I told you last week also, because I have one file which is here with Bootstrap. I would like to have, let's say, let me go to the next URL, CCS3310 test. Now, I would like to have, a login mechanism to this so that I can register myself and log in and then have information displayed to people who are only logged in there. Okay, that's one requirement I have. Requirement number two is I want to show something here as well, maybe a link or something somewhere so that I can click it. Say, for example, to have a link called books. So when I click it, it'll take me to a book template and show me the books, right? So now to do that, let's study this file here, right? The index file. It's a very basic file that we have. And this one has nothing to do with my welcome blade, which is here. So the welcome blade is the file that is showing here. So this is the welcome blade, right? So let's see whether I can have a link somewhere up. So links are coming here from the navigation, and it has a route has login, by the way. So I need to enable that piece in order to get some links on the top. So to do that, actually, I am going to add a big component now, authentication component, without doing much. So if you go to Laravel, there is a section called starter kits, right? Here on the left, getting started and the starter kit. So I would like to have an authentication mechanism. So that I can do with a tool called Breeze. This is another facility coming from Laravel. So Breeze has different flavors. You can have Breeze with Blade, Livewire, React, or Next.js. Livewire is a excellent way to connect backend and frontend using JavaScript. Something like React, but you don't need to worry too much about, you don't have to learn React in order to use Livewire. it's a very simple and a powerful way to connect front end with back end. Blade is what I'm going to use because it's pretty simple. So click on that. It will say what to do in order to get the thing going. So I need to do PHP Artisan Breeze install, and then let's see the rest of it. Right, I'm gonna do this. There are no command defined in the Breeze namespace. Ooh. Oh, I need to do Breeze install. Breeze stack may be installed by invoking Breeze install. Yeah. Okay, Breeze install. Why is that? Oh, sorry. I need to install this thing first. You have to install it with Composer first, the Breeze component, and then only you need to install it. Okay. I forgot to install the component. So here I'm downloading and installing the Breeze component. After that, I have to install Breeze onto my mechanism. So there are few things I need to do with Breeze. It's taking a while. So once it's included or rather installed, we need to get going with because for you to create users, you need a users table, isn't it? And then there are a couple of others also. And then you need to migrate those database files onto our system. And then there are JavaScript files also. So for that, we have to do npm install and npm run dev. That will compile our Java and also CSS into a package that we can use in our system. It's taking a while. Maybe I should stop this. Now I'm installing Breeze. Okay, so check this out. I have multiple options with Breeze. Blade with Alpine, Livewire Bolt class API, Livewire Bolt functional API, React with Inertia, Vue API only. I want the first one, Blade with Alpine, right? So I need to type Blade in order to get the first one. Would you like dark mode support? Okay, let's say yes. Which testing framework do you prefer? I like PEST framework. We'll get to that later. Keep this in mind. This is where the unit testing is coming in. Oh, PEST is 0 actually. Okay. Right. Excellent. So it's installing some stuff here. Done. I also need to do some migration and run some JavaScript as well. PHP has two mechanisms when it comes to testing. PEST and PHP unit. PEST is supposedly easier to write than PHP unit, so I prefer PEST. Later, we will see how we can incorporate that into our process of software development. Okay, I think Right, so it has installed Breeze. So now I need to migrate the files into the database. I do that by PHP artisan Breeze. Okay, I did that. Now I need to do PHP artisan migrate to incorporate the migration files to my database. Now it's compiling some JavaScript. Done. Okay. So I need to do PHP artisan migrate. Nothing. Oh, migration is done. And let's see, npm install is also maybe already done. Okay, that is done. npm run dev. Okay, so this is another console I need to run. So now I have two consoles running. One is here, and then one is here. Now I don't have anything to type, so I'm going to have another duplicate of this. Right, and then let's go and load. By the way, without the books, let's load. Okay, look at this now. On the top right-hand corner, I have login and register. And if I look at my database now, let's reload my database. I have users now, right? So the users, one has name, email verified at, password, everything. So I also have sessions, password, reset token. What else? Yeah, those are the things that came up with the users. So there's already a one user called test@example.com. I don't know what the password is, but no problem. We can create an account ourselves. So let's go to register. Now, what do I want? So, okay, just keep my Azmeer email at test.tc.k. Let's have a simple password. And then register. Now see, the entire form set is created automatically, right? And there we go. I just logged into my dashboard. So this is the dashboard. I didn't write a single code, isn't it? So this is a drop down. I can go to my profile. That's my profile. I can change my password. I can delete my account. Anything is possible. Or I can just log out from the system. This is the dashboard homepage. Okay, if I log out, it'll take me to the homepage here. And now I can log in here. Now remember the register page? Register page has certain things. Now here, we also have forgot your password. Remember me. Log in. Everything is done for us. Beautiful, very professionally done. So we don't need to do any other work. So if I use my email address and password, I'm in. Now let's try a wrong password and see what happens. Wrong password, right? Okay, these credentials do not match our record. That's in red. See the beauty of this? We did not design any of this form. everything is automatically added to our system. Now since we have the links here, login and register, I was actually doing this to add my books page there, right? So now if you look at the logic here, you see it uses this @ sign to incorporate PHP logic inside the HTML file. It says if route has login, do this. If you are authenticated, that is, if you already logged in, you can go to dashboard. Otherwise, you have to log in and register, right? Now, if I want anything else here without worrying about any login or log out, I can just have it here. I can say books, right? I'm not logged in yet. There you go. It's not aligned, maybe because of this information here, I guess, class, right? So what I'll do here is I'm going to copy this whole tag and paste it there, and let's call it books. Right, I can see it here. Okay, we can use the inspect to find out what is going on. So let's see. Here you have rounded MDPX3 here. Oh, nothing. Oh, hold on, but we did add this now. Anyway, we'll get back to the design later. Maybe I may have to rebuild the UIs, right? So now for that, there is something called clearing. So if you go to the, where is that file? Composer, there are some commands here. It's called scripts, right? Post update, post root update, so stuff like that. So we can run some of these commands to clean up our cache. Say, for example, PHP sound cache clear. Oh, I put something else. Okay. Now let's see. I cleared the cache. Whether it is coming up now. Not getting on. Anyways, so my point was I wanted to click this and then go to a page where I can show my books. That's one thing I wanted to do. So, and then other thing I wanted to do was to enable clicking on, let's say, once you go into the dashboard, clicking after logging is another matter I was trying to look at. Oh, I have not saved this document. Oh, there you go. Okay, aligning is done now, right? I have not saved it. Okay, so now book is clickable, and when I click there, I want to show my book list. So we're still not using any Blade template as such, right? So if you go to here, if you go to getting started, the basics. Okay, here we go. Blade templates. So this will tell you, it's a very easy to understand thing, how these Blade directives, template elements, components work, right? It's a huge document. One of the reason I told you last week also, why Laravel is famous is this excellent documentation, right? Very easy to understand globally, including code. right? So that's a very important lesson. Okay. Right. So we were here in live wire. So today we looked at getting connected to the database and also installing a kit, a UI kit for our authentication work. And now we are trying to see whether we can get a page up by getting the route. So I'm not going to have any, say, UI design as such, but let's put books route here. So when you click on this, it'll take you to the books route. So let's see whether it works. I'm going to reload. And here we go. Books. Okay. Not found, it says. Why would be there? Is it not going? Hmm. Oh, where is my route now? My route is gone. See, in the beginning, I had welcome, right? And then I had my books route. So looks like that is deleted. So after adding the Breeze, my custom route is gone. So let's bring that back. I'm going to copy it from here. That's the route. Okay, here. Also, I may have to import that as well. Let's have it at the bottom here. Yeah, exactly that. I have to include it as well. Okay, now it should work. There we go. Right. So I came to this page from the home page, and this is not correct actually. Now I have a template here. Technically, I should be having the same template in that books page, isn't it? That's one thing. At the same time, I don't need to log in to look at the books. Now, there may be others where you want to log in order to see it. So for that, we need to customize my dashboard file, right? So remember how we logged into the dashboard? So if you look at the way the dashboard is, working, we have a very similar a navigation system on the top, and then there is a text here, and then some stuff is being displayed. So how can I add another page to this? So for that, you will notice there are some new views available. So suddenly we have profile, layout, component, and auth. That is the author. So here also there's another additional file, dashboard blade, right? On the top, we have a dashboard, and you don't see anything else here because this mechanism uses Blade or the template engine in order to break down the HTML into various pieces. So if you look at layout, there is an app layout, guest layout, navigational component. So here's the app HTML, here's the guest, and then the navigation blade. So what we're trying to do here is to have another link, isn't it? So I have the dashboard link, then there can be other links also. There's a profile link, there's a post link, logout, actually, logout is a big deal. We need to do some work before logging out. Right, so here we have something called the X drop down, X slot, right? So X slot is, they're not HTML. When you look at it, they are blade related things, right? So when you start moving forward, you will realize these things. But for now, well, don't worry too much. So I'm going to add another link down here. Let's call it authors. Dashboard. Okay, let me see whether it works. There you go. We have authors. Now, both of them have the same line. That's not good, right? So when you click on author, you want the dashboard. Let's say it must be part of a link space. It's authors, no such issue, books. Right. And does it work? Yeah. Well, actually, you can see the URL at the bottom left-hand side corner, but it's not going anywhere, isn't it? Both of them are going to the dashboard immediately. So I need to give it a link to go to in the books, right? So it goes like, as per this document, it goes like this. This is the naming convention. Where is that? Right. I think one of the biggest tasks they had was confidential connectivity. So how do you have like multiple sets of data? We call it nodes, and then connect them together. So by doing so, we can get to what you're looking at here, right? So let's see where this is heading. And also the URL. So I need to find the URL here. So as per this, these are the URLs, right? So books should have had books.index, right? So that should be the route file. Let's see, index, no, web. Okay, so books is there. Navigation, stop index, right? Screen here. Ah, okay. Books. Yeah, it is working, right? Only thing is, I don't like this layout. So this layout should be like this, isn't it? Maybe we can do that now. So to do that, we need to study the app blade here. right? And also guest blade as well as the navigation blade. So navigation is where I added my link. The app blade is where the most of the or bulk of the work is going on. See, HTML head and everything else. Right. So let's go to navigation is okay. So we have dashboard template. How do I add something myself? So now to do that, I need something like this. I need a blade component here, which I will be calling from my link. And then I also need to extend the parent blade. Now, this whole thing may look like very confusing. Don't worry. Okay, don't worry. What we're trying to do here is to install the Laravel framework and simply run MVC. That's all we are trying to do here. Okay, so by doing so, we get overwhelmed because there are so many things we can do as well. But let's bring in some clarity here. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here now. I have recorded this and I'm also working on a worksheet for you so that you can go step by step. So going back, what we did was we added the route, then we updated our model. Where is that? I may have closed it. Right. So um, we did that, and then we also added this. This actually came from last week. The resource route. We installed Breeze, and Breeze added all these routes. Dashboard, auth, profile, and all that. So we'll talk a little bit about it next week, and then I want to bring in features into something called backlog and then load that into something like a Git management system. So we'll be using Bitbucket and Jira. There we will be adding in features, and then we should be able to track these features and map it to a source code and then manage it properly. That's the plan. Okay. So spend some time. If you're not spent time with Laravel, speak to your friends about Laravel and make sure all of you are on the same page. Now,